Oh, just stay where you're supposed to stay. Microphones going places. Hey guys, the heating season isn't over just yet, at least not in England. I'm still using my heating, which is good because this kind of feels on time. This is a TRV from Meross, and Meross is a brand that I've heard good things about for some time, and I was super happy when they emailed me asking if I would like to cover the products, because of course I would like to cover the products, and that's why we're here. So they have sent me this. This is, let's read this, MTS 150 TRV, Smart TRV. What it does, it attaches to your radiator and allows for controls per radiator. And this is something you probably want to have in your home automation if you are attempting to save up some money on heating. Electricity is expensive, heating is expensive, everything is expensive, so looking for a smart solution might make sense right now. So Meross has sent me a starter kit. The starter kit includes one TRV and the smart hub and 6 extra adapters that I could use to connect this to various valves. Now I was lucky because here in the UK I used just a pretty much standard valve, this is my test valve by the way, to connect to it, and I didn't have to really use any adapters, so hey, lucky for me. I also have been using this for a couple of months now, testing it to see how it works on this valve, and I've got some words to say about this, so let's get started. Let's start with this featureless hub. It's this H300, and this is RF hub. And I know I'm a big fan of Zigbee, and previously I've covered on this channel Zigbee TRVs, so if you're interested, one of the TRVs is here, but this one uses the 433 MHz RF. Now the advantages of using that signal is that it has better penetration and range. Disadvantages is that it's a little bit harder to hack and less common to hack right now because Zigbee is the thing, and it doesn't use mesh. But my preference aside, we're going to give it a go and see if it's actually worth your attention. Now the hub itself, like I said, pretty featureless. One button that's responsible for pairing. Micro USB. Why not USB Type-C? Come on guys. Micro USB for power, and that's pretty much it. This works with Google Home and Alexa, also with SmartThings and HomeKit, as shown by the nice QR code on the side. Now I don't have SmartThings or HomeKit, so I won't be able to share my opinion on that. But if the integration with Google Home and Alexa is good, then we can kind of extrapolate to those other ecosystems, right? It shouldn't be a problem. The Meross TRV, however, it's white and pretty much featureless. Now, on top of it, you have a nice display, which activates when you touch it. It is a capacitive touch display, and one of the things that bothers me that I don't exactly know where to touch it with because there is no indication or way you're supposed to touch it. So most of the time I have to press it a couple of times in a couple of different places to detect the area that actually doubles as a button to wake up the display. But the display itself is pretty neat. It's bright enough to be used probably in a direct sun as well, and it shows everything that it's supposed to be showing. So you have access to the set point, you have access to increase and change the values of it, and you can also see the temperature of the internal temperature sensor because it comes with the internal temperature sensor. Now to open it inside, you just press on the tab and pull it out to reveal that it is powered by 2 AA batteries, and those batteries will last approximately 5 months. At least 5 months in my testing, because it's how I had this in my hand and I was testing it with a spare valve. Now the actual battery life may differ depending on how often do you need to actuate the valve and how nice is your valve. Now in my scenario I have a brand new valve which I can activate with my finger. It's not that hard to press, and that comes with added benefit of this being really quiet. It actuated the valve a couple of times when I had it in my hands, and I bet you barely even noticed that because it's this quiet. Obviously, if this makes any noise, it will be down probably to resonance of your radiator and the valve being particularly difficult, so look into it. Now, in order to use that, you have to have compatible valves. And we're speaking about thermostatic valves, those that come with that plunger that can be depressed in to activate the valve itself. Now that you probably know everything there is about the product overview, let's talk about pricing. Now, you can buy a starter kit for around $60. Once you've got a starter kit, you can connect up to 16 devices, 16 RF devices from Meross to a single hub. So it'll be probably enough for the heating setup to have one of these and 16 of these. And if you just want to buy the TRV and you already have the hub, you're looking to spend around $38. In terms of a competition, this is slightly more expensive than the Zigbee TRV from Sonoff and cheaper than the Zigbee TRV from Agara. And in terms of the build quality, I think it kind of slots in between those two devices anyway, so I think it's priced reasonably. Once I wanted to connect this to my ecosystem, I kind of ran myself into a dead end in which I didn't really know how to connect this because I was trying to connect the smart hub as you would in any other ecosystem, but this is not the way. I had to reach out to Meross support to actually get some clarification on how to connect this properly, and honestly that was kind of my fault, but there is nothing explicitly telling you that you should seek for a device rather than a hub. So the way it works with the Meross hub, that if you want to connect the TRV, you go to the app and you select the TRV, and the TRV selection or pairing process also allows you to add a hub, something I didn't really know about, and I was trying to add a hub and that didn't work at all. Once I knew what to do, the process was pretty straightforward, and actually there is plenty of good information during that pairing process that explains how that TRV works. In one of the steps, I've learned that you have to calibrate it so it knows how far down it has to press on the valve to activate it, which is obvious enough. And that feature also can be recalibrated later on the schedule, which is probably useful just in case things go sideways. And I also learned that these TRVs report back or accept the information every 3 minutes. So if you issue the change of set point, it might not work straight away, but you might wait up to 3 minutes for the TRV to wake up, grab the latest settings and apply them. Other way around, it's instantaneous. As soon as you click on the button in here to activate the display, the device wakes up and pings back and gets the settings or applies the new settings set via TRV. This is something to bear in mind. It's not a massive problem and it's done to conserve the battery. As far as you would like to have instant response, honestly, when it comes to the heating, there is so much delay and hysteresis that that's not a problem at all. After playing with all the settings and discovering extra features like calibrations of the temperature inside and open window detection, which you can also take advantage of, I decided to go back to the main card to judge how easy it is to set the temperature, and the main panel was looking pretty good, except from the fact that the default values for the cool, eco and warm were a little bit high. It's not a big problem because I had to go back to the settings and set my defaults that were more corresponding to what I would consider those values to be right. But that's about the only niggle that I found in the app. But what impressed me was the scheduling. The scheduling is done really nicely. All you have is this really neat graph that kind of spans throughout the day and allows you to set different temperatures for different times. All you have to do is just move the points to the where you want them to be, and that's it. And you can also copy the same schedule for different days to make your process of setting up your device a little bit quicker. The only thing that is missing is the fact that you cannot really copy that schedule onto another device easily. So I would like to see that as an update. And you have 6 different heating zones that you can't really modify. Why 6? Because I guess they are stored on this device once synchronized, and that's the memory limit. But if you need more than 6 zones, well, you're kind of in a pickle. Realistically speaking, 6 temperature zones seems like enough for average home users, so I don't have a problem with that. In my test use, I found no problems with this TRV. It was always in range wherever I would go and how far I would set these two things apart in my 2-bedroom apartment. So if you have an apartment of similar size, you shouldn't have any problems. And considering the penetration levels of RF433, probably it's going to work in a house with a couple of floors too. But my next step was to actually try those integrations and connect Meross to my Alexa speaker and to Google Home. And the process was super simple. I had to do is just authorize the skills on the corresponding voice assistant, and within seconds he was connected. Then I've opened thermostat controls on my Alexa or Google Home and made some changes. And those changes were instantaneously changed in the Meross app itself. So the changes between various ecosystems were lightning fast. And then obviously within 3 minutes that information would be relayed to the Meross thermostat. The other way around, when I change the values on the thermostat manually, both the Meross app and the Alexa Google Home ecosystems would update instantly. So everything seems to be integrated fine. So I'd assume the SmartThings and HomeKit integrations probably work just as well. You know how to use it with cloud, but can you hack this thing? In theory, this is RF433. I don't know if the stream is encrypted or not, but in theory you could maybe try to hack it. However, there are other things that you can do with it. Since you have integrations over the cloud to Alexa and Google Home, if you're using something like Node-RED, you can either use Alexa Remote 2 or Nora for Google Home and get the information through the cloud via API about the states of it and control it that way. I know it's not ideal because you are using cloud just like you would via smart speakers, but it's one of the ways that it doesn't require hardware controls, and you will be able to integrate that into your DIY home automation solution. So overall, the Meross TRV is quite an interesting choice. I think it's reasonably priced and well made. Granted, it's better suited for people that are not looking for DIY automation, because for these people, I would recommend something that is Zigbee based, but I have no problems with it, and it works well, and it might as well be a staple of your home automation system. Now, if you want to know how my DIY smart system works, then there is a video there for you. Do check it out, and you'll find out what I've developed for my previous home and how I wanted to integrate these into that. So it's an interesting read, so give it a go. But if you're interested in the TRVs from Meross and all the smart products from Meross, then go to the description of this video. You're gonna find the links to the product that I'm holding in hand, the Meross TRV, and the tab, and other products from Meross brand. As for now, guys, I don't have a posting schedule. If you're interested in what's going to be next, then you know how it works. Use YouTube tools provided. I have a couple of social media links on the display right now, somewhere down here. So do follow me there and start a conversation. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.